Welcome back to SBR Forum Videos. Paddy Power has released opening night NBA odds after the NBA schedule was released just yesterday, and I'm here to give you a preview of those three games. October 27th may seem like a long time away, but only about 10 weeks away, which means the preseason will start in just about 4 or 5 weeks, believe it or not. So it's actually time to start gearing up for the NBA season, even though the NFL season has yet to start. And of course, the big opening night contest a lot of people will be waiting for is the Cleveland Cavaliers heading into Chicago, into the United Center to play the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls are actually coming in as 2-point favorites in this one against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I think a lot of people will jump in early on the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was similar to that when the first time these two teams played last season. However, Chicago's got a new coach, probably a new philosophy as well, and as long as everybody's healthy, mainly Joakim Noah especially and Taj Gibson, both who really weren't healthy at all last season, pretty much both dealt with similar injuries and ankle and knee problems, but both of those guys can come back healthy. Of course, Derrick Rose, there's an injury factor as well. However, I think the Chicago Bulls could be a pretty good play here at -2. They were, as I mentioned earlier and probably have mentioned before, they were beating Cleveland in the playoffs last season before Pau Gasol went down. He'll be back full strength. They have a deepened bench with Bobby Portis, who's just another big man they can throw out there. Chicago Bulls should not be slept on at all in the Eastern Conference. I do not think the Cleveland Cavaliers should be as heavily favored as they are. Another Eastern Conference showdown Paddy Power has odds out for in the opening night of the season is the Atlanta Hawks and the Detroit Pistons from Atlanta. And the Hawks come in as a 6-point favorite in this one. And of course, the Hawks were one of the best ATS teams and probably one of the biggest surprises in the last 10 years at least in the NBA, gaining that number 1 overall spot in the Eastern Conference. However, the Atlanta Hawks here are still once again undervalued. It looks like the sportsbooks haven't learned much from getting beat up on people who were tailing the Hawks last season. Now, I've mentioned this before, losing DeMarre Carroll is going to be a tough hill to climb for this team because they really don't have anybody other than the aging Thabo Sefolosha to guard wing players. And of course, he was injured all of last season. If with DeMarre Carroll gone, it's going to be very difficult for them to guard some of the wing players. However, Detroit doesn't exactly have a great wing player to really defend, even though I do like the acquisition of Marcus Morris that they made in the offseason. So as much as I think the Detroit Pistons will be a little bit better against the spread-wise, the loss of Greg Monroe hurts this team. I think the Hawks could be a really good play as the favorite here at home as well. Now, the final game for the evening is the defending champion Golden State Warriors playing host to the New Orleans Pelicans, a rematch of the first round of the playoffs, and the Dubs come in as a 9-point favorite against the New Orleans Pelicans. I could not like the New Orleans Pelicans more in this one as +9 underdogs. Remember, even though the Golden State Warriors swept New Orleans last season in the playoffs, they were also 1-3 against the spread against them. New Orleans won all 3, I believe, of the first 3 games against the spread before losing the final one both straight up and against the spread. If you look at the New Orleans Pelicans, bringing in Alvin Gentry, Drew Holiday will be back healthy for this squad. I think this is a really, really good basketball team, potentially 50 straight up wins, and I think the New Orleans Pelicans could also be probably a pretty good play opening out of the season against the Dubs. Now, that'll do it for me this time. Make sure you check out a couple of my other NBA schedule previews as well as the video we did with Megan Rochester yesterday. But until then, for SBR Forum Videos, I'm Jordan Sharp.